Hello everybody and welcome. I'm about to do one last drive on my, well, soon not to be mine, Ford Focus Mark II. A car that has been my daily driver for nearly 4 years, and it has been superb. It has been economical, cheap to run, to insure, everything. I couldn't have asked for more from this car. So by the time that this video is uploaded, the car will already belong to someone else. One of my viewers happens to be the husband of one of my wife's colleagues at work, and he has shown an interest in the car when I put it up for sale. Not really officially on the channels, on Auto Trader or anything like that. I basically put on the YouTube community page and also on Instagram. I did have a little bit of interest in the car, a few inquiries, but the car wasn't quite ready for sale because I still needed to finalize a few jobs in it. Also, I wanted it to go to a good home, and it couldn't have gone to a better place really, because the new owner is a Ford fan, has several Ford models, knows these cars very well, and it is also in some sort of way I hope to be in contact, and also to basically see how the car is faring and so on. So I've had this car for nearly 4 years, and it has been, so far I've owned 34 cars up until now. I've had for the last 24 years, yes, since I passed my test, and this was the only car that I've had the longest as a daily driver, and I couldn't be more happy with it. It has been the best you could ask for a daily driver, by being economical, cheap to run, and very reliable as well. I couldn't fault it, but with a growing family, needs must, and therefore I had to replace it with something a little bit bigger, and that was a Renault Scenic that you will see in the picture now, and I will do a presentation video at some point later. So the car now is ready to be handed over to the new owner, and this is my last drive on my way home ever with this car. So that's why I decided to call it the last run. In a way, I am going to miss this car simply because it is actually quite fun to drive, despite being just a 1.6. Part of my daily commute are these sorry, twisty country roads, which really do add to the driving pleasure. At the end of the day, you don't need a lot of power to drive through these roads. You just need a good chassis, and that's what the Focus Mark II is. It is a development on the Mark I, although I do admit that the Mark I feels a little bit more edgy, but this one, I find that it is a little bit more composed, more refined, and I really enjoy it. And despite all that, it has delivered a decent fuel economy, insurance costs, maintenance, everything else. This car has provided everything that I needed as a daily driver, and I'm sure the new owner will appreciate it as much as I did all these years. I normally don't keep cars for too long, probably about 2 years maximum, but this one, it felt in the end that I didn't really want to get rid of it. And although I been toying with the idea of selling it for 2 years, I think, because at the end of the day I only bought this car as a temporary replacement, so as a stopgap when I sold the Mercedes estate, when I was facing the prospect of redundancy, which eventually did happen. And I just needed something cheap to run and maintain and so on, and this car just did more than that. Great reliability, I really couldn't have asked for more. And I think this is a really great way of motoring, because these cars are still good value, they are still cheap to buy, they are ULEZ compliant, at least the petrol versions. So I don't think you have anything to lose in buying a Ford Focus Mark II hatchback. I replaced the one with a Megane because Megane was just there, an opportunity being advertised locally, and also I needed a bit more interior space. I initially started to look at Ford C-Max because of the mechanics similarity with this one and so on, but I couldn't find one that I really liked, and therefore that's why I bought the Scenic. But more about the Scenic on another video. And one thing that these cars also do provide is still lower insurance groups. Of course, not as low as a Fiesta or a Citroen C1, but in terms of maintenance, perfect. And as an entry family car, I think it does the job really, really well, especially on these days where the cost of living is still affecting a lot of people. A lot of people are also still affected by the ULEZ. They have to buy a vehicle that is compliant, that's not to rob them of £12.50 a day, and this car does the job very, very well. And the good thing about this car, it's everything that I replaced was just normal wear and tear, nothing necessarily broke. Of course, apart from the exhaust bracket and so on, but that's due to age. This car still has its exhaust system. All of its bits, apart from consumables such as suspension and braking, is still the original one. And everything has still lasted. It is also proof that regular and preventive maintenance do help cars to live longer, and that is a key. So will I buy again Mark II Focus? Definitely. Not really as a daily driver, but something like an ST, something as a weekend toy that I could have some fun and so on. An ST225 perhaps, but it depends on what finances permit. It is a car that was part of my life for quite some time, and therefore I think it deserves its place, its recognition, let's say. And that was it. The last drive in the Focus, the good, reliable friend that has never let me down. And in the next couple of days, it will go to its new owner.